Hi there. My name is Josh Liddell. Um, I am here to talk to you about some leadership skills and effective communication for assignment 17. Um, Effective communication is one of those things that not everybody has the gift of the gab. I like to think I have the gift of the gab. I've gotten pretty much everywhere I've been in my life due to my communication skills. I was never very good at school, and in fact, I never finished. That's why I'm here. Um, that being said, um, there's some things that I've learned in this course that I would like to share with you, as well as some of my personal um, coping mechanisms and ways to deal with that sort of thing. Um, when you are addressing a peer group or you're addressing um, staff, I guess is a good way of explaining it. Most people will probably apply this to either team sports or work. Myself, I'm not an athlete anymore and haven't been for a long time. Um, so when you talk to your group as a leader or your staff as a leader, you need to have a tone in your voice um, that is positive. Um, you need to be able to communicate and be thorough and explain yourself in a way that people can understand exactly what you're trying to say. Sometimes saying too little is not a good idea if you're very vague and if you don't like to talk in front of people, chances are people are not going to get the point you're trying to get across. Um, so a lot of times I find that going in there prepared, a lot of people like to write notes. Myself, I like to on my drive, uh, plan out how I'm going to say what I'm going to say and deliver it in a way that they can understand where I'm coming from and what needs to be done and what's crucial and what's not crucial. A lot of times that's what happens with miscommunication. People concentrate on things that are not really something they should worry about, and um, the more important things go on the back burner. Um, that being said, you need to have a certain way about you physically as well. Um, I guess one of the main things I could say is standing there with your arms crossed, looking kind of with a scowl on your face and kind of like a big deal or arrogant. That's probably the worst one. People, you explain to them that you are in control of the situation, but at the same time they need to buy into what you're saying and they need to buy into who you are. If you come across as just an arrogant guy who's on a power trip, they're going to forget about the whole reason why they're there and concentrate on why they have to work with this idiot who is going to push them around and just look like a big wheel. Um, Being approachable, um, proper hand gestures, smiling while you're talking, even when things are bad, um, smiling is key. Um, being close in your group, and I mean within like distance as opposed to like metaphorically or whatever. You need to be close to them in a group setting, not yell across a room. Be close to them so they can feel your tone and understand where you're at. That being said, you need to be very clear and you need to also ask questions to them to make sure that they know what they're supposed to be doing or what's going to happen next, or feedback. Maybe there's something you've missed. There's always those few people in the group who keep you on your toes and help you from not looking like an idiot. And you need to embrace what they bring to the table and let them know that you appreciate what they bring to the table. Um, Sometimes things get emotional. Some people get sad, some people get angry, and how you deal with that as a team leader is going to have a huge effect on the overall feeling of the group, the mood. So when you feel angry, you need to understand that it's not okay to express that anger in a way that would make somebody feel scared or um, have anxiety. You need to tell them that you're angry, and by tell them I mean like tell them like, listen, I'm angry. You know what I mean? Like, and this is why. And you need to do that privately, one on one. Never single somebody out when they've screwed up in front of everybody else. You're taking away their confidence then. And what you're trying to do the whole time is build it. So don't go backwards, go forwards. Um, that being said, there's going to be times when you're going to be tired, sad, emotional, all those sort of negative emotions that nobody likes, and you have to go to work, or you have to go to school, or you have to teach. And how you cope with that is basically that's what makes you a leader. Um, I remember working for a guy who always was happy, always had it together. Never seemed like there was anything going on in his life. And I come to find later on that there was tons of things going on in his life that were horrible. But he still came to work every day with a job to do and understood that his home life and his work life need to be separated. And what I mean is you can't turn off how you feel. You can't turn those emotions off when you walk in the door. You're not doing it for you by acting like everything's okay. You're doing it for them. Um, and it's a very selfless thing that you're doing by doing that. You're only helping them, um, which is okay. It doesn't always have to be about you. Um, so that being said, when you're in a position of power, you need to use your power to help guide and coach. And there are going to be times where instead of you being angry, they're going to be angry. I find that when that happens, or when they're sad, you let them have their moment. You let them blow up. If they want to start yelling at you in front of everybody, let them. Let them go and don't say anything and don't roll your eyes or give them some sort of egging on sort of scenario. Just let them be. um, but once that's over, uh, go to them privately and ask them why they started crying or why they freaked out and got angry. You need to always reassure your group that you're there for them, um, always positively. And you need to emphasize on those positive things. You need to remind them of the good that they're good at. A lot of people like to break people down and build them back up, and that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of in my life. You can achieve way more in a little amount of time by giving somebody a boost positively than breaking them down negatively. Can you think about that for a second? You have to first take away everything that they think that they're good at and make them feel basically incompetent, insufficient, um, you know, smaller than a grain of sand in a sandbox. You know what I mean? Like insignificant. And then you have to teach them and build them back up again. That's dumb. What you need to do is focus less on the negative, focus more on the positive. But at the same time, don't leave out what they're doing wrong. Tell them, hey, listen, what you did here and here and here, you were killing it. Like this was amazing. Like, but here and here, oh, it needs help, it needs work. Like, what do we got to do to like get it up there? And that's how you got to say it. What do we got to do? Don't say you got to do this or you got to do that. It's always we. We is like the quintessential word that you have to be using in your vocabulary when you're working in a group. Um, because it really does. That's what it boils down to. Somebody's work will affect you or affect them, and you need to make sure that that's taken care of. That after that, you sort everything out, whatever emotional issue that went on, and you let them come back in the group, and you don't bring it up. It's don't bring up old stuff. Don't be like, well, remember that one time you freaked out? Is this what this is going to be again? Like, don't bring that up. You know, it's apples and oranges. Like, sometimes things happen for other reasons, and sometimes people don't want to talk about what's getting to them or bothering them. So you just let them have their moment, and you move from that, and you grow from that. Um, But I want to emphasize again, like you deal with those personal stressful times one on one, calmly and supportively, and offer them everything that you could possibly do for them to make their lives easier. Um, sometimes getting down to saying that, like, it sounds wrong by saying this, but down to their level. And by down to their level, what I mean is you are not above anything. Um, you need to sometimes jump in, and I'm using my personal experience working in a culinary business and managing restaurants. You need to jump into a dish pit and help the dishwasher out, and that's not above you. If he's doing everything he can do to get the job done, and it's circumstance that's getting in his way, help him. Help the cooks. Do everything that you can do to show them that you care about them, you care about their well-being, their feelings, and that 9 times out of 10 will be reciprocated back. They'll give you more. They'll give you their all. They'll give you, they'll be there for you when you need them. And there's going to be times where you're going to need them. Calling, someone calls in sick and you're going to need them to come in, and they're going to go, I'm going to be there because I'm going to be there to support my team. I'm going to be there because they need me. They're calling me because I'm good. They're not, they're not gonna sit back and go, oh, well, like, I don't want to be there because my boss is a dick and he's a jerk and I don't want to be around him. And they're just calling because they need a body. They don't need me. They just need somebody to fill the space. No. I pick up the phone. I call the best guy I got every time. I just don't call somebody who picks up. So they need to know that. They need to know where they stand with you, and that's important too with communication. They need to know where they're at all times. They need to know where they need to be growing and working at. Um, and at the same time, when they do that, you're going to be there to help them along the way. Um, there there are some strategies to, like, working with people who are emotional. Um, like I said before, there's times where you're going to have to let them just kind of vent. Um, and then there's going to be times where you're going to need to establish a dialogue between somebody, and you're going to need to approach it sensitively. Um, as long as you do that, you should be okay. And there's going to be times where people are not going to want to talk, and the best thing you can do is let them go, but tell them that you're there for them if they need to talk. Um, I guess, like, I'll give you a scenario. Um, I was a chef for like 10 years, and we were opening a restaurant, and I had a chef de partie, and that chef de partie was basically, like, if I could give it to you in hockey terms, head chef, which is me, would be like the captain, or sorry, the head coach, and my sous chef would be the assistant head coach, and the chef de partie is like the captain on the ice. His job is to, um, it's like a chain of command. I tell everybody what I need, and he's my second eyes and ears on the ground. He's making sure he's checking on everything, making everybody sure that everybody's got their act together, that they've got all the stuff that they need, and that they're using proper techniques, and they're not, finding ways to get around the hard work. Um, and he was very focused on being a good chef, and he was an amazing cook. And with this new restaurant opening, we were getting a lot of press, and we needed to stand out and not screw up, and we did 2 nights in a row. And when we first opened, and it was due to things that he was forgetting because he was too focused on being, an amazing chef who produced amazing food, but that was clouding his ability to organize, prep, and delegate certain jobs on the line that I had given him. Um, so after he had screwed up, I said to him, come back and talk to me. So, calmly sat down. It was after work. We had a drink, um, and a little bite to eat. I find that when you're going to have a serious conversation about somebody, there needs to be an icebreaker involved. Jumping right into it is like the worst thing you can do because people are thrown back and they're already stressing, they're already having anxiety. You need to calm them down so they can think straight, so they can talk to you and they can express to you exactly what they're doing. So for me, it's always food. If it's not food, it's something to drink, or it's a joke, or it's a story, and then we like jump into why we're here, um, and that way they can you know unload and we can regroup and reorganize. Um, After talking with him and letting him know where I needed him to be and where the issues where he knew. He said, look, I messed up here, here, and here. And I didn't have to yell at him or tell him, and I sat back and I listened. That's huge. Communicating with somebody is probably um, about the ratio of talking and listening should be about 60% listening and 40% talking. So you listen to the people and then you reiterate what they've said so they know that you've understood. And the following night, after we had a conversation, after I let him talk and just talk, 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 and then where his head was at and what was going on, he killed it. Um, I reminded him that he's an amazing chef, and I know that he can do this because he's done it. And it's okay to make mistakes, um, even though it wasn't, and my boss was ready to lose it. But I wasn't going to help him by telling him that the sky's going to fall if he screws up again. Because if I told him that, you don't make great decisions when you're stressed. And I didn't need him to be stressed. I needed him to be focused. You have to decide what you want. Do you want to get a reaction out of somebody, or do you want to get the job done and look like a rock star? And I'd rather look like a rock star every day than feel like a big man in a big wheel. So hopefully I covered all the areas that you were looking for. This was a very cool way of doing this assignment, and I uploaded it to YouTube with a link so you can actually watch this as opposed to not get it. Um, but that being said, this was cool, and I hope to do more assignments like this. Thanks.